Rashi Peripherals Limited has listed today on the stock exchanges after being subscribed over 60 times last week. I am joined by the management, Mr. Kapal Pansari, who is the MD and CEO, and Himanshu Shah, who is the CFO. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out the time to talk to us, and congratulations on the listing. Let me start by asking that obviously your issue was of the fresh issue, and you've said that you'll be using it for borrowings, prepayment of borrowings. So if you could help us understand your borrowings, the debt and the borrowings that you have, and how much will you be repaying if you have any breakdown for that?
Yeah. We have borrowings of working capital on our balance sheet, and 54% of the issue proceeds will get utilized to repay that. Total borrowings on our books is in the range of 1,000 plus crores, and we will be paying roughly around 326 crores out of these issue proceeds.
So, which means you'll still have a significant debt, in your books. And how do you plan to eventually, bring it down as well? Because will you be going for more funding for that matter, or how do you plan to help that?
Yeah. So, our business requires working capital to great extent. There are three components to working capital. When we buy goods, we buy on credit, and then we hold them inventory. We distribute them to our 50 warehouses and 50 branches across the country, and that reaches to 680 towns to more than 9,000 customers across the country. When we sell to the customers, we sell on credit. We are a B2B player, and therefore we use a debt to equity ratio very prudently to grow our organization. And that's where when we raise this capital, it will increase our ability to be able to churn revenues using these working capital cycles.
All right. Can you also help us understand, since you have partnered and you have a lot of distribution partners as well, especially with the local as well as global technology brands. If you give us a profile as to how much they stand, at least as of last quarter. I know you can't give out the numbers, but just to understand if that's been expanded, and what happens, what categories technically have been contributing more to your revenue.
Yeah. So very good question. So I'll ask you with our customer profile. We have three go-to-market strategies for all our technology products that we work with. One is the online e-commerce players, where we sell to these e-commerce like Amazon, Aparios, Flipkarts of the world. They list the product and they sell to the customers. The second biggest category is the LFRs, modern trades like Vijay Sales, Reliance, Chromas of the world, where these are large format retails and customers come and directly buy from these stores. The third, which is the largest in our portfolio, is the general trade. So places like Lamington Road in Bombay, Nehru Place in Delhi, etc. are cluster markets for our IT, which forms the majority share of our product line. Because IT is a consultative product, it requires understanding of technology, and the need of every user is very different. So therefore, the general trade continues to play an important role in the overall ecosystem of the IT sales. The second, out of this, we have two business categories. One is lifestyle and IT essentials, which is our core and the base of our organization where we started off. So products like CPU, motherboard, pen drives, hard drives. The second category is PES, personal computing, enterprise and cloud solutions, which is just formed about last 10 to 12 years ago, and this contributes about 56% of our revenue. This is the largest revenue and the growth engine that will come from this segment.
All right. My next question is to you, Himanshu. I mean, your gross margins have been somewhat low, right? So could you help us understand, clarify how that has been and how you're trying to kind of ensure that that kind of grows?
See, our gross margins are at the industry standards, and we feel that this industry is a matured industry with defined margins, and we are operating at the industry benchmarks or even a little bit above that.
Right. I know that you can't comment on the financials that obviously are being out, but just do you have any targets in mind or any guidance that you keep in mind for for at least for that annual year that we have to ensure that we reach that much? And if that's the case, could you help us understand?
So I'll give you two answers on this one. One is that Rashi Peripherals, for the last 20 years, we've been growing at a CAGR of 23%. We've maintained a track record that is sustainable and robust in the ecosystem. The second is that currently, since you asked about the targets and market, though we are not privy to share due to regulatory issues, but the demand for technology products remains robust. And because of that, there is good uptake in the commercial and the retail markets put together. Though we are unable to share the financials, the results, But we will be soon declaring our results post-listing in the given time frame by the regulators. And that's all.
Right. One last question. Since yours is a very growing business, as you mentioned, any expansion plans or any new product offerings, or how do you plan to go to the next step? Even after listing, any plans that you have in mind, at least for the next 2 to 3 years?
So our product portfolio that is there, we have chosen that very consciously, and it caters to our customer base favorably. We are not looking at drastically changing this cart of product portfolio, but we'll continue to keep evaluating our customer needs, new technologies that keep evolving to add to our portfolio so that both customers and us will benefit in the long run.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out the time to talk to us.
Thank you.